Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Happy Yappy Hour. Oh my gosh, it's so good to see everybody today. We've got a great show lined up for you today. We've got some great interviews. I'm really happy for you guys to hear this. So let's see who's in the chat. Let's see who's here. We've got some really fun people. Oh my gosh, channel member Brandon Jackson. Brandon Jackson in the UK just got his swag bag because he's a VIP member. So hey, Brandon, thanks for doing an unboxing today. That was really, really cool. And if you haven't seen that, you can check out our community tab. Before I forget, if you guys can do us a favor and give us a thumbs up and even do a share on your social media pages, share it out and let people know we're here, because we're going to talk about rescue dog transportation and how this whole thing works. It's really, really cool. So let's see. Here's my friend. That's right. The RV DJ, Sonia. And I got the disco ball just for you. I'm ready. Oh yeah, I'm flying solo tonight. Watch out, people. It looks like we've got a Facebook friend too. Hey, I'm so happy you're there. Our Facebook friends, if you guys want to register on StreamYard, then we can see your names. If not, come on over to YouTube. It's really cool. And then we can see your name and talk a little better. But we'll just pretend. I'll just call you Bob until I know who you are, unless you want right in the chat what your name is, because that would be very cool. I see another awesome channel member. Hey, Tim, a mo bang for your bucks. Hello. Good to see you. And there's Diane. Hi, Diane. Oh, and Dina. Nice to see you, Dina. I was going to say, we also had, if I'm not mistaken, who did I miss? There's Brian. Brian was here. Hey, Brian, good to see you. I knew I was missing someone up there. So we've got lots of stuff going on today, and we've got John. Hey, John. We got lots of stories. I'm just very excited about this. And then, of course, our other moderator extraordinaire, Miss Sue. Good to see you, Sue. We're going to jump into it today because we've got lots of stuff going on. But one thing I do need to bring up, we have 2 new members. Internet state parks are sort of crazy, but we have 2 new members, and New Horizon is one of them. And we're going to give them the official new member shout out, because that's what it's all about. We have new members of a New Horizon as well as Vanderella. So woo woo! Thank you so much for being members. Every single month, your membership goes directly to rescue organizations and helpers as we move forward. So thanks, guys. You rock. I always feel like I'm on a telethon when I do that. Sorry, guys. One of those things. But thanks. We're so glad you guys can make it. That's cool. We got, of course, more people. James Catanese. James is here. Good to see you. Very neat. All right. Well, I'm going to bring up some really cool ladies, and I'm going to start with one who's in my area right now. She's in Tennessee, and she has been doing this for a while, and she started something really cool. So, Laura, are you ready to come up? Big thumbs up. All right, I'm going to bring up, here comes Laura. Hey, how are you?
Great, how are you?
Awesome. Okay, now, this is neat. So Laura and I have never met before until tonight. This is really about 8 minutes ago is how we met. I'm a friend of a friend, which is interesting, but she does some really amazing things. So I want to just let everybody know tonight that we are going to be collecting donations specifically for 2 rescue transport organizations, and Laura works with one of them. So Laura, tell us a little bit about yourself and the organization that you work with.
So just this year, actually, I started a nonprofit called Charlie's Angels Saving Animals with 2 of my good friends. I have been doing dog transport out of rural Tennessee for the past 5-ish years. Just started in a volunteer capacity, and it's grown over the last years to where, like to date, I've transported over 6,800 animals out of Tennessee. Wow. So yeah, so this is what we do.
That is amazing. So, I mean, okay, how did you get started in this? What said, hey, I want to go do this?
Yeah, I didn't have any intention of doing this. I actually started out fostering dogs, and I moved to Maury County to Columbia, and the local shelter here was always overrun and putting out like an urgent list, of dogs that would be euthanized. And I started out with 4 fosters within like my first 2 weeks of fostering, which was excessive. And
overachiever.
Yeah, it was at the point where I realized I wanted to save them all, but I couldn't have them all at my house. And so transport popped onto my radar as a way to save a lot more animals than I could personally foster.
Yeah, it's true. And let's explain to people why there's a need for this. Why is there a need for transport to begin with?
So there is just horrible overpopulation in the South in particular. I don't want to say not access to spay and neuter, but there's issues with the cost of spay and neuter, with people understanding the need for it. There's so many unwanted litters, and then those breed more unwanted litters. And so it just keeps the cycle going. Right. And then also when we have warm weather here, there tends to be longer breeding cycle, just a lot more animals in need.
There's so much.
Yeah. Less adopters in rural areas than in populated areas. So it's just a matter of moving the dogs out of this area to places that have adopters waiting.
So that's a really, oh my gosh, guess what? We have our first super chat of the night. It's Tim with Mo Bang for Your Bucks. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, guys, we appreciate that. Okay, Tim, I think it's time. Thanks for the super chat, man. We appreciate it. That's going to go to a good cause. We love paying it forward. So that's cool. Thank you so much. We have the coolest community. I'm telling you, we really do. And Tim is very generous and sweet. So every little bit counts. It could be $1.99, could be $5, $20. I mean, we'll take it all. It's really nice.
Absolutely.
Well, so you are in the Tennessee area. So where do you primarily transport these animals to?
We do transports twice a week, generally. We go to Indiana, we go to Illinois, and then we go to a foster-based rescue that's all up the East Coast. We meet them in Virginia. They meet us halfway, but the dogs get spread all up the East Coast in DC, Pennsylvania, Maryland, all those areas.
Yeah, that's really cool. Now, are these, and I know it's probably a network. Is it just one person taking a pet? Let's talk about this. Is there a whole network of people? How does this work?
Oh, there's definitely a network. So we work with shelters and rescues. Mm-hmm. And so once you form a connection with them, you're working on your next transport all the time. And so like every week we're going to Illinois, every 2 weeks to Indiana, every 2 weeks to Virginia. And so you're always just networking with your contact at the rescue, and they're working with their fosters or their shelters, and they're placing the animals. And so we move what we can place. And we're usually, I would say we average 20-ish or plus per transport.
Now, I'm going to go with the why part, because this is interesting, because I know a dog that I adopted was actually from a different place, was brought here from someplace else. So why, I mean, are the shelters so full they're at capacity that they're being moved, or like, how do they call you? How does this work?
Yes. So basically, unfortunately, the majority, I would say, 98% of shelters in this area at least are overcrowded all of the time. And so it's literally, a lot of times it's a shell game of, can they get enough adoptions, enough transport, all that kind of thing to not have to euthanize. And there's others that just unfortunately always have to euthanize. And so I have, I think about 13 or so shelters in this, in the surrounding counties that I work with. And so they're kind of always messaging me on my phone of, this dog needs help, this dog needs help, this dog needs help, but I'm forwarding it to my partners. And so that's usually how we build a transport, is just starting with the need and we place what we can.
That's really cool. That's really awesome. Hildy has a question, says, do y'all work with service dogs? So I'm going to answer it from my side. So Hildy, I connect people with service dogs or service dog organizations. So if you are in need of a service dog, whether it be for the blind or any kind of behavioral support, anything like that, let me know, because I can hook you up. But do you guys transport dogs that then become service dogs?
We do, but that's like on our rescue partner end. Like our Virginia partner definitely has a group they work with that will come, especially litters of puppies, that they come in and evaluate them and pull ones that they think would be good for their program. So our dogs do end up making it in service. Yes.
Nice. Oh, we have it. Look at this. We have a European pound coming your way. Oh my gosh. I love it. This is so much fun, guys. We love, you know what? Rosie Bell's going to say thank you. Oh. Thank you so much. We appreciate that, Brandon. You are so sweet. We appreciate that. Oh my goodness. Well, let's talk about, because we've got a friend. We were just talking about like bringing them up north, and we're gonna have a friend from up north. We've got Rachel. Rachel, are you ready to come on up? This is cool. Here comes Rachel.
Hello.
There she is. Yay. Okay, now I'm a big fan of the Chicagoland area. I'm just saying, I lived up there quite some time. So you are let's talk about you and your organization.
Yeah, so I am the first suburb west of Chicago, Oak Park, home of Ernest Hemingway and Frank Lloyd Wright, is usually how people know us. And I started Rescueber. Officially, it'll be 2 years of us being a nonprofit in October. So I was going to start my own rescue, which a lot of us up here like to do. And I realized I have enough friends that are doing a really great job at that, and that they are on call 24/7. And that was a balance that I thought that I could do differently. So I sent a message out to all of them, and I was like, what do you need? I want to start a nonprofit that supports rescues. What do you need? And every single one of them said transportation.
Yeah.
So transportation we do three kind of different things that help with rescues. So the first is transportations similar to what Laura's talked about, from high-risk areas to the Chicagoland area where we have these rescue partners. We also have a few partners up in Wisconsin and one outside of Indianapolis. And two is that we have a lot of people that live in the city without vehicles. So we want there to be no barriers to fostering. So we drive their animals to spay and neuters, to vet appointments, to anything like that they might need. And then the last thing we do, which we haven't done as much because of COVID, but we're hoping to bring more back, is enrichment trips. So dogs that have been in a shelter or a rescue, if they have a home base for a little bit too long, we help with that. We go to Chicago Animal Care and Control and do some doggy days out with them. So we have a van that we're able to transport multiple animals. So we kind of do that to get them exposure to adopters and everything else.
And that's the ultimate goal. I guess the ultimate goal is to have placement, to put them in the right place to find their forever home, which is fun. So, Rachel, get you. They're playing. They're having fun.
I look like I'm floating. I tried to pick the cleanest area of my house, so that's my room next door.
She has the strongest core muscles of anybody. Can't you tell, Lance? Gosh almighty. Lance has a very large Great Dane. So Boondockoon Boomer is his channel, which is fun. So he travels in an RV with a very large Great Dane, which is really cool. But yeah, it's a really interesting thing because, most of us are thinking, well, I could just go to any shelter and find a pet. And we have a lot of people who call us up who say, I'm looking for, like, I'll say breed specific. I know I had a guy who says, I'm looking for a bulldog. I'm like, well, guess what? There are bulldogs to be adopted. I'll show you the ins and outs on how to find it. But more importantly, without you guys moving things to areas, we would have a significant higher kill rate, quite honestly. We really would. And it's sort of sad. It's sort of sad to think about that. But I think without you guys, you guys really are, you said angels. You guys really are angels, making sure that every life counts. That's really cool. Really neat. So Rachel, let's talk. So you started this.
And I want to give a shout out to Best Friends Animal Society.
Go
ahead. Sorry.
No, give me some shout outs.
I was just going to say, we kind of use guidelines of Best Friends Animal Society that really share statistics nationwide as far as where those high risk areas are. And that's where we try and go. We have a transporter that moved to Oregon this past year. So I have a mini pipe dream to get her a minivan so she can do some California to Washington State and Oregon transports, because California and Texas go back and forth on the highest kill areas. So yeah, so we use them as kind of the statistic compass, if you will, as far as where they really need help.
Is there a specific breed, I'm just curious, that you're seeing more of in your transports? Or breed mix, I should say?
So pity is a very wide term.
Yes.
So I have an Amstaff lab mix that I love very much, but I think those are dogs that end up in shelters often. And I think there's a million different reasons. And what's tricky about our transports is that our Chicagoland rescues, we also have those animals up here.
Yeah.
So my rescue organizations that I work with, at least in Chicago, Wisconsin can sometimes take them, doesn't take bullies usually from the South because we have enough up here that really need our help too. So I think, and it's so hard because we get requests all the time. And I'm also very blessed to have a transport coordinator. I want to give Kayla a huge shout out. So I am not the one that has to get the SOS messages and say no and yes and all of that. The joke is that I load and drive and unload. So I would say that's a big breed. But I also, just like you, I have a whole list of people being like, my sister wants a corgi. So I'm like, just wait, I'll find you one. So
they're there.
You can find any breed if you wait long enough and meet with the right people, for sure.
Well, I will say this, two things. My partner in crime is here now. This is Miss Rosie Bell. We sit on a bench. It's a little cushion bench. It's really fun. But she is a lab mix with dwarfism. She's a hot mess. And she likes to think that she's a lap dog, but she's not. About 40 pounds of love that sits on your lap like a 5-pound dog. Yep. But one of our friends here, of course, has another question. Of course, it's a joke, but this is fun. Says, last question, does Laura have a Great Dane for Charlie Grace? She's looking for one.
We actually transport a lot of Great Danes.
Oh, yes, I did. I was this close. I have a Great Dane. It's sort of a sad story. And I'm like, I've had everything from Great Danes to Chihuahuas and in between. So yeah. I've been doing this for a while, which is really cool. Well, we've got some more friends here. I see Fat Matt has joined. Tyrannical Mystery Covers. Hey guys, thanks for joining. Really cool. And I know that Rally Creative was here as well. We got lots of raids from really cool people. There's a travel chit chat before this with Dream on Wheels, and they like to come over, which is always fun. So I've got some very specific questions. You ready? I'm going to start with Laura and then go to Rachel first, so that way you guys don't jump in. It's or hit the buzzer. We'll get your buzzer. I got it. Okay, Laura. Has there been how do I put this? Because you're transporting, has there been a situation where you had too many to transport and you had to turn away, and what do you do then?
Well, I mean, there's always more that we can transport, but we try to fill the van every time. And so we don't ever overfill it and have to leave someone behind that's scheduled to go. But there's always dogs that we have to leave behind for sure.
Understood. Okay, Rachel, how about you?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we're actually van building as well. I know that you live in a van build, and that's to cut down on our cost for lodging so that I can sleep in there and then we can load up the next day. So we are planning, once that build is done, so if there's any software people on this, we're hoping to build software so that I can send to Kayla that software and she can Tetris the crates. Okay. I would say cats we tend to overbook, but we have just quite honestly shoved them in and gotten on the road. So we are really lucky in Louisiana. We kind of have a system. We work with several different rescues that a lot of them are willing to short-term foster. And since we go there every 3 to 6 weeks, depending on the month, they just hold on to the animals for us.
Gotcha.
But that's when you're working with fosters, that's what's tricky is, then if that dog could have fit, that person would have gone to grab another foster. So I think this is Helena. I think that's just kind of the tricky part of it. So we definitely have had that situation, but we've usually been able to work around it. It's cats that have been the trickiest, just because cats actually have twice as high a risk in a shelter as dogs.
Yeah, absolutely. And wait, and as we're talking about shelters and fosters, are you fostering this little one?
I am. So this is Helena. If anyone's in the Chicagoland area, she's looking for an adopter. She was a litter of 3, actually, and her 2 sisters are living with an amazing retired man that is sending me updates because I told him I'm a little obsessed. Helena's the one that's left. They actually, all 3 of them had ringworm, which is really, really high risk at a shelter. So we were really lucky, again, that those Louisiana partners found that out, pulled them into a foster home. And I was able to kind of find a space to quarantine them, and now they're spayed and ready for adoption. So yeah, Helena's about just under 5 months old, super playful, loves dogs, cats, and she really loves kids, which you can't always find in kittens. So she will just lay in your arms forever. So yeah, I love it. In Chicagoland, shoot me a message and I can link you with the rescue.
There you go. See, if you're looking for a cool cat, Rachel's got the hookup. I'm just saying. Okay, now Laura, have you ever fostered and then had to transport? Like, have you ever fostered for a while before?
Yes. Yeah, I foster pretty much all the time. I tend to take the sad, pitiful ones that nobody else wants to help, and usually pitties. So I tend to have them a long time. I've got one laying at my feet right now that I've had, I think, 9 months now. And so he's posted for adoption, and hopefully that will happen someday. But yes, I do foster before transport.
I will admit, I'm a foster fail. I'm not going to lie. Everyone talks about, oh, well, you have, we had a little chihuahua that I was supposed to foster. I thought 2 weeks. Some grandma's going to love this dog. She's awesome. She's a pocket dog. And then my kids were like, but Mom, I'm like, oh, you're right. And 6 years later, we still have the dog. I'm like, okay, we have the dog. But it's cool. It's cool. Okay. Now Red says, she goes like, oh, I want a cat, but can't yet. She's in the midst of working on her Class A RV to get back on the road, which is really cool. And she's got a great channel too. So just so you guys know, in our community, if you see someone in the chat that you do not know and you would like to check out their channel, please do so. We have a lot of content creators and just really cool people in the audience that are nice. But if you see something you want to say, hey, let's go check out Redhead Riding Hood or Boondocking Boomer or even Fat Mad Adventures, check them out, give them a like, and write a comment. It's always nice. You can check out one of their videos. So, how have you been as far as do you need more volunteers for each of your organizations? I'm going to start with Laura. Do you need, if you had a happy number, what would that be?
I don't know what the happy number would be. I would say the main thing we can always use more of is drivers that are willing to actually do the transports, to do the longer drive. We do pretty good on people locally picking up, and we've got a core group of 8-ish people that will drive for us regularly. But that's the biggest need. Okay, awesome. Rachel, how about you?
Well, shout out Laura. We should talk after because Tennessee's an easier drive than Louisiana.
Yes. Yeah, true.
By van. So our biggest need at this point is Midwest transporters. So if anyone's Midwest, we have partnerships in South Bend. So it's interesting because there's areas like Indianapolis where there's adopters and there's need for them. And then there's places like South Bend, Indiana that I would have never thought that are actually, there's high risk shelters there.
Yeah.
So I'm learning a lot in all of this rescue world, but So local drivers in the Midwest area. And then we also are looking for anyone that would like to help us / mentor us in any social media type situation. So you can be from anywhere in the world to do that. I have a nursing background, so I do my best and my volunteers do our best, but that's definitely a need that we have, is just kind of being able to share what we do and grow it. Like I said, I would love to get a West Coast minivan and be able to help as many animals as possible. So yeah.
Well, I'm just saying we got a lot of van lifers, a lot of RVers here who go from here to there. So I'm just thinking there could be some kind of RV connect somewhere of saying, yeah, we could take it from here to there and back and forth. I know, like, I'll be going to Missouri and Iowa and then Michigan. Like, I'm sure somewhere around the place. That would be really cool if there was an app where you could connect to volunteer to help transport.
Ooh.
That would be neat.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. I like that. I'm just putting it out there for my techie friends who are thinking, because there's an app called Nomad Near Me. And for us nomads who travel, all of a sudden you're like, where am I? And you say, I'm 30 miles away from so-and-so. I should go see them and see what's going on. Maybe the same thing could happen for transports. If you were looking to volunteer, you could say, I'm in Alabama. I'm in Huntsville today. I wonder if there's anyone who needs to be going from here to Ohio.
Yeah. And even if you fit 1 or 2 dogs in your RV, it's not like you have to pack it like Laura and I do.
I'd rather you did,
Everyone makes a difference. Or even cats. Cats are super easy because it's just a carrier and they're all set up in there.
Yep.
So
I can do piece of cake, no worries. Hey, Nancy from Thin Blue Lane is on. Thin Blue Lane's going to go on after us, so we'll put a link in the chat for them after we do. But it says here that Don says Laura's current foster Bane is the sweetest little pity boy. Oh, I get to see him every time I deliver dogs to her. I love pitties. I just have to tell you, I love their ears. I love their expressions. They've got the sweetest personalities, and I have no idea why they've gotten such a bad rap.
Yeah.
I'll have
a pity forever. So I have a pity lab and then a senior chihuahua are the ones, and then I have 2 adult cats too. So we have a packed house. But yeah, no, I will always for life have a pity. Seniors have become my new passion and all of that. So now I want a senior pity and a senior chihuahua.
Yeah. Well, it's the senior thing is Hildy says I'm in El Paso, Texas, and there's a lot of pets here.
There is.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, there's our friend from Germany. Actually, he likes to go to Germany. Let me rephrase that. He likes to travel and tell me all about it, and I get really jealous. So magnificent Germany with Darian. He just got a really cool basset hound named Snickers.
Oh, yes. I love it.
Very sweet. So we're very happy for them. That's really cool. They had one that passed away not too long ago. So we're very happy they have a new one. Very nice. So let's go backwards for a second. I want to make sure, because I want to make sure people are connecting with you guys. We're going to put the links in the description below, which is important. We'll put the links, of course, in the chat as well. If I would think, and this is just me, could people donate gas cards?
Absolutely.
Yes. We have every gas station there is in Chicago.
Right. Okay. Because there are perks on people's, credit cards, and sometimes people can get free credit cards. And I think that's a really cool and easy thing to do if you're getting the perks for free anyways. Just to shell gas cards or whatever that might be. That might be a help.
Absolutely.
So I heard a need for social media. I heard a need for another van on the West Coast. That sounds cool. I might qualify for that one. And Laura, now, did I see correctly? There's a plane on your website?
Yes, we have a pilot that volunteers his time to fly for us. And he actually would love to be flying more than we are right now. So if anybody wants to get some flights going, Charlie can help you out.
Okay, there you go. That's really cool. I do know people. I used to work with Civil Air Patrol, which is fun. And I know a lot of pilots, but that's a really great idea because that's a lot easier than driving. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
Just saying.
On both the transporters and on the animals too. They
for sure.
do a lot better in those flights. They deal with the van, but
right.
So how do you keep them calm? This is a good question that someone asked before. How do you keep them all calm while you're doing the transport? Is there something that we have to give them from a medication standpoint, or what do you do?
From my point, usually once you get on the road, within the first 20 minutes or so, most of them settle down. Every once in a while you have the outlier that's got to be heard, but for the most part, they really calm down and relax. It's rare. I think maybe once I've had to give a sedative type for a dog that was really stressed out, but for the most part, they handle it pretty well.
Wow.
Yeah, I would say if the shelters know them pretty well or they're fosters. So if it's a really highly anxious dog, we try and meet whatever's best crate wise for them. So we mostly do wire crates because they're easiest to clean, but we do have every size of plastic crate. So if they need more of like a safe den-like space, we try and do that. Definitely when you're going 55 plus miles an hour, it like puts them to sleep, kind of like a baby. So when we get on side roads is when everyone likes to chat. And then I call it happy barking. I swear everyone chats when we're within an hour of where we're going.
Yeah.
Are we there yet? And they're talking then.
Right.
But we also use Blooming Culture has CBD treats that they actually donate to us. So they're a California-based organization. And for adults that are not on any other medications and all that, we always ask the rescues first. But we're a big fan of those for the adult non-mamas and all of that, just to keep them, to kind of keep the edge off. Because it is, I mean, you're riding with a million roommates and it's loud and it's all of that. But I agree with Laura that for some reason they kind of just like know where they're going. They just have this great sense. So.
It's a really good thing. Hey, I gotta tell Brandon. Hey, Brandon, thanks so much for this. This is so cool. I gotta tell you, it's really cool. Except, hold on, one more thing. I'm going to show the money. There we go. Money, dollar bill, y'all. We appreciate that. But these are pounds. So sorry, guys. We love the pounds. We are not going to let people up on the chat yet. We're going to do that at the end, if you don't mind, because we want to make sure everybody gets a lot of information from these lovely ladies. We do need to take a small break at about half hour. I got to look at my clock here and give a thank you to our channel members because that's important. So if you guys have any questions in the chat, that's really important to ask. We love this. Then Blue Light says, hey, everyone, we are doing whatever we can to make the show happen. Internet's crawling, but we're going to try. Okay, we understand that. So if you get it working, great. And if not, we'll figure something out. Maybe we'll just keep partying onward. I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But no, thanks, Bill, for letting us know. All right. So if you have any questions, if you guys can speak like a question mark and then put a question in the chat, that'd be great. Let's take our short break for 1 second. We got to pay the bills, and they say thank you to our channel members. So if you guys can hold on for one hot minute, here we go. Yep, that's the disco ball, people. Watch out. Thank you so much to our channel members. That is awesome, guys. We really appreciate everything. It makes a huge difference of money we can pay for it. And we have another super chat. Oh gosh, I play something and then here you go. It's Tim giving $20. How cool is that? Oh my gosh. Okay, it's going to be a super safe because of where we are today. I might just wear a mask. Oh yeah, this is your super safe super chat. Got the mask on, got the gloves, I'm dancing. Oh yeah.
That's how I feel cleaning crates after transport.
Puppies, yeah.
Especially puppies.
All right, so we got a couple questions, and Angie says, as of right now, if we were traveling to said location, is there a way we can volunteer transport? Good question.
So the way that I know of, there's two different things. One is Dubert. So Best Friends Animal Society actually partnered with an application that's called Dubert that you can sign up as a transporter or an agency. So if there's any rescues that are listening as well, it takes like a week for them to process everything. But anytime I'm going on vacation, because I can't ever just take a vacation, I post, hey, I'm headed to here, and I can fit 2 or 3. And a lot of those are not full van transport. So a lot of those are 2 or 3 dogs. And then there's several organizations, I think it's called Just Moving Dogs, I can't remember, but I will send it to you.
Okay.
Just a Girl Moving Dogs maybe, and they post, so you can join their page, and they post, hey, we have this leg taken care of, this leg taken care of. And those are usually like 1, 2, 3 hours. So it's not like the 13, 14-hour rides that we do. And like I said, even every animal makes a difference. So even if you only can do one animal, it makes a huge difference to that animal.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's important that you're right. To you, it may be just one animal, but to them, it's a lifetime. It's very, very big. Okay, and one more. This is fun. And Tim, for Time for Exploring, says, question. What's a question, Charlie? Really, Tim? You're killing me here. I love this. Gotta have friends who have a great sense of humor. It's always fun. Okay, let's see. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, yeah, and everyone's like, thanks for your super chat. Absolutely. We appreciate it so much. And then we have, let's see, I put your links in just so you guys know. So I've got Casa Transport in there and Rescueber. So you guys, please take a look at those. They're in the chat. If you guys want to click on them, save them, put them in there. It's really cool. So we can make sure that we support these lovely ladies in their missions, which is very cool because without them, we would be having a lot more issues with kill shelters, specifically in the South. I did want to bring this up because I know we have a lot more people in the audience now. One of them is the spay and neuter laws. So there are a lot of states that do not have spay and neuter laws. I'm wondering, is that more of an issue in the North, Rachel? What are your thoughts on that?
It's a good question. So I think spay and neuter laws are really important, but I also think access is a huge issue. So I think it's kind of a partnership. So I am not familiar with the spay and neuter laws up in Chicagoland, but pre-pandemic, it was pretty accessible. Pandemic missed and still in post/missed. Pandemic, we don't have as many vets as there are pets that have come up, specifically to the Midwest and Chicago area. So there's long waits and all of that. And cats especially can get pregnant as young as 3.5 to 4 months old. So I posted today, one cat can, I think it was something like have 180 kittens in their lifetime. So I think that's a big thing. A big thing up in Chicago specifically is with TNR. It's not only Chicago, it's everywhere. But so community cats and what that kind of argument looks like. So yeah, I would say the laws are a huge thing, but access is a huge thing too. Our Monroe partners, a lot of the vets are an hour away from an owner's house, and that's not something that's necessarily accessible to them. So I think it's a dual kind of partnership situation.
Understood. We've got a question here from Saving Cheatham Animal Mission Possible, which I love. What are the costs from your end to make a transport go? It's a good question.
It is. Depends on where you're going. Go ahead, Laura.
I was going to say, Laura, you want to go on this one first?
Sure. That's my friend Robin actually asking that question. That's her rescue. So just gas wise, it's a couple $100 per transport, but what goes into that is all of the vetting, the vaccines and the heartworm tests and all of those things, which add a lot of cost to it. So it can be anywhere. If you add in the vaccines and the gas, it can be several, whatever, $100, $500, $1,000, whatever, depending on the transport, where you're going, what needs to be done.
Yeah, okay. And for us, so we, our rescue partners do all the vetting / our foster-based organizations. I have a tiny dream to try and do something similar to Rescue Pet Movement, where they pull for 2 weeks, they're in foster, and then they come up with us. So ours are solely so our insurance costs and all of that. So it depends on where we're going. For our Monroe ones, everything's said and done. And like I said, we're still doing lodging because our van build isn't done. It's about $350 to $400 depending on how many animals. And then Texas is usually about $750, including everything together. And luckily we have all of our supplies now. So before, when we started up, we had to do crates and all that stuff. So yeah, I would say it totally ranges, but any amount, like you said, helps. I mean, gas just from our Chicago area shelter to a foster could just be $5. So
yeah, it is very expensive. I think a lot of people, you have a price in the back of your head when you're like, I really only want to spend $50 to adopt a dog.
right.
That might have cost them $1,500 to get them there and
Right.
vet bills and everything else, but it's a little different. And we go through those things, which is some really good questions. Oh, I just jumped. Okay. I just lost it. And Naj is here. Good to see you, Naj. Good. I'm glad you're here. Very cool. Angie has a question. It says, I hear a lot saying, I just can't afford to have my pet spayed or neutered. What would you suggest? Now, I have a comment for this, but I want to hear what you guys say too.
You want to go first, Rachel?
Want me to go? Sure. So we are lucky in the Midwest that there are a lot of low-cost spay and neuter options. So I would say to reach out to your local animal control, actually. I would say they're the best resource to point you in the right direction as far as what's out there and available. And then I would also say that I think that social media has kind of boomed, that I've seen people that have posted GoFundMes to be able to get an animal they found spayed and neutered. And people have been really understanding of that. But I think if it's your pet and you're looking for that resource, I think your local animal control and or shelter, sometimes they're humane societies, it kind of depends on where you are. And also I always say on my social media that if you're kind of lost, I am happy to do a little research for you. So you can feel free to go to our website that has our contact information, and I can point you in a good direction as well.
Very cool. Laura, what do you think?
There are some organizations in our area, like People for Animals is one of them, where they will help subsidize the cost of spay and neuter for people that can't afford it. So things like that are very helpful to getting it done. But I would just encourage people to make sure that it happens, because it's easy to, let it slide, and then pretty soon there's more unwanted animals, which just adds to the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Now we are friends with New Leash on Life, especially in Wilson County, and they do a free rabies clinic, and they do offer very low cost spay and neuter. And that's one of the things that I really, it costs money. You have to have a professional do these things. And some people are not aware that, it's based upon the age of the animal and the pound of the animal. As many as vets will say, if you have a 5-pound dog versus a 40-pound dog to be, spayed or neutered, it does change the cost of that. So people are just not aware of how the cost factor plays into it. And it's really important that you, take care of that as soon as possible, but within that good realm of making sure they're still healthy. That's important. So very cool. Okay, we got a question here. It says, one more question. Can you explain the vetting process that goes on to be sure that the animal is healthy enough to transport? And that's
That's a great question.
Thanks, Robin. So for us, thankfully, since we started the new organization, we have vets that volunteer their time, which is amazing and saves us a ton of money. And we have a facility now where the vets can actually come there, and we bring all of the dogs to the facility, and then they spend a couple hours, doing the exam on each of the dogs and making sure that they have all the proper vaccinations. If there's any sort of, skin issue, if there's, an abrasion or anything that looks off, they'll do a skin scrape to make sure that the animal doesn't have any kind of contagious disease. And so it's just a process to make sure they're healthy and ready for transport.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that a lot of our local animal controls, the South Bend ones and Michigan ones, also have a volunteer vet that comes in usually twice a week that does that for them. And then our Southern partners, I admire them so much. I think, Laura, they're doing similar to a lot of the stuff you do, that they're doing this a lot out of their own pocket. A lot of them don't even have time to get a 501c3 charity license.
Right.
So they are doing it based on when their friends give them money, when the vet can do something. They are scrappy and saving lives, and it amazes me every day. We have a dream. I also, actually, the rescue that she's with, Lulu's Locker, are trying to do something in Monroe that we can set up an actual, possibly mobile spay unit, because there's such a wide range of people that need stuff. So like I said, access is a huge issue, and we're looking for grant options on that too. So if anyone's listening for that. So we really want to I'm very big in not just like grabbing the animals and moving them. We also want to work with the locations,
right?
Especially because I'm not living in the locations, with our partners to really try and help with a solution and not just transporting.
Yeah, absolutely. Good point. Hildy says here they have sometimes free neutering checkups, stuff like that, and they have vans that come out and do that for people that can't afford it. That's really nice. So mobile, like a mobile vet, that'd be really cool. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's definitely a big topic, a very big topic, and there are a lot of states that, like I said, some states have laws, some states do not. I just got back from a situation where, if you ever heard of Carolina dogs, do either of you know that breed? Okay, so there's a big topic of Carolina dogs, whether they need to be spayed neutered because they are quote unquote an indigenous dog to North America, and it's becoming an issue that they're They don't want to have them listed as endangered, but we have a lot of breeders out there that are trying to breed and say, like back in the day when everyone's like part wolf, now they're saying part Carolina dog. That's going to be a show in the future talking about that. But it's interesting when you start looking at these breeds and what's happening, and designer dogs as well is a big issue. The overbreeding of designer dogs and a lot of puppy mills, a lot of hoarding cases, things like that happen. So we have another awesome super chat from Dyson's. Oh my gosh, Dyson's Crazy Adventure. You guys are so awesome. Okay, here we go. I think we're going to go. Let's see, do I jump? I think I'm jumping for joy. I'm jumping for joy saying thank you. Yeah, I'm totally in my element. Can you tell?
That is joy right there in that picture.
I love this. And Julie says, I wish our vets could donate their time or at least do a low-cost spay neuter. I'm in Midwest Ohio. It is expensive. I'm not going to lie. I'm related to people in the veterinary field and medical field. And, there's a cost factor involved with it. So, you got to pay your people. You got to pay for medicine. There's things that go with it. And many times rescue organizations are lucky to have a vet on staff, if not ones that can donate. Some towns like rotate. Do you guys, are you familiar with how do the majority of the rescues you work with, do you know anything about their medical or vet practice?
Here it's fairly.
We are lucky enough in Illinois to have a program, if anyone listening from Illinois, to have a program called Stay Illinois. And that clinic works all over. So they have Chicago area one, which is the one I go to often, but they have Central and Southern Illinois as well. And a lot of the rescues use them because they use a rescue discount. And a lot of our local vets will do rescue discounts as well. Where that gets tricky is if a medication cost goes up and all of that, or they're losing staff, there's still an organization that has to pay the bills too. So it's a really fine line and hard balance. And we totally understand that. I also think that veterinary students are a great thing to access. We do some parvo prevention clinics and organizations like that with a couple of our rescues, and reaching vets young helps, and it helps give them a kind of foot in the door as well as kind of learn. So I think that's something you can look into. And then also a lot of organizations just don't have time to try and find the funds for that. So if you are good at grant writing or writing in general or anything like that, reaching out to your local rescues or humane societies could be life-saving in so many ways. So I definitely would encourage you, if you have any of those skills, to just reach out to a local shelter or rescue and say, hey, I'm really good at writing and I'd love to help with kind of painting the picture of what you do to try and get you some funds.
Laura, comments?
Yeah, that's wonderful what she said about people helping, because the problem with rescue is so many people just don't have the time. You're so immersed in what you're doing that you don't have the time to focus on stuff like that. As far as that stuff in the South, at least in Tennessee, it's pretty rare to have a vet on staff, and that makes all the difference in the world of what shelters can offer. Whether they can have the dogs altered in advance, whether it takes a lot of time and money to get them altered, all of those things. I feel like it's a lot more common in northern areas to have a vet on staff, which makes a huge difference. And then also here we have vets that will help with rescue rates and all of that, which allows us to do what we do.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. I have to jump in with a what I call a screaming two-wheel segue, because our buddy here, Papa Drew, is essentially telling me what he ate today, which I'm happy. You're telling me what you ate, Papa Drew, because it says here you had 2 power drinks with 0 sugar and total calories. He's working on his diet. He's working getting heart healthy, and we want to keep him heart healthy too. So thanks, Papa Drew. We're glad you're doing okay. That's important. We love that. Very cool. We got another question here. It says, what do you do to make sure that the animals are transported humanely? Ooh, good question. Okay, Laura, I'll start with you on that one.
So we transport all of the animals, obviously, in their individual crate. They go in climate controlled vans like we do. We only do passenger vans that have air conditioning in the back, just to make sure that they're comfortable and not overheating on the drive, and they have water in their crates.
Yeah, pretty much the same. And if for some reason they do have a buddy, so some of our seniors have had like a friend, we just give them a bigger crate so they can have both of those. I kind of went on a whim and sold my Subaru, got a van, because
get a van. Yay.
During a pandemic, why not? And didn't think through the cargo versus So we actually had to add a HVAC system in the back, which has been paid off thanks to our donors. So we're really grateful for that. We're still working on paying off the van, but the HVAC system was fully paid off by our donors. So we have that in the back that we closely monitor. we actually added, like I said, we're doing a build. So we added soundproofing back there and insulation. So it helps a little bit with sound too, just because that can be kind of scary for the animals, again, especially cats. And then sometimes someone donated a speaker thing, so we've played classical music in the back. And then when I transport my seniors, I make sure they have like some good cushion and all that stuff. So
Yeah,
temperature control, I think, is the most important by far. If you're looking to do anything that's in more than a car, temperature control is huge.
Absolutely. So cool. Well, guys, I think we're at that time where it's going to be fun because I'm going to once again, I'm going to bring up the websites, let you know what you're looking at. So it's casatransport.org is one, which is Laura's, which I'll put down here in the chat. And then Rescueber, which I love the name, by the way. I do. I think that is so cute. Instead of Rescue Uber, it's Rescueber. And when I heard about this, I was trying like, how do I spell that? How do I make that work?
I always just say Rescue BER.
Rescue BER. Love that. But I know Thin Blue Lane's got to go because they got to set up their show in a few minutes. But this is really, really cool. And I think that the fact that you guys took the initiative, you saw a problem and you really just jumped in head first and said, I can do this. I got this. That takes guts. It takes a lot of guts. And I really applaud you two for that. That's really cool. Sheila here says music is a great way to comfort the fur babies during transport.
Absolutely.
Yes, it can be. Please do not play Ministry or like AC/DC. Probably not that kind of music. I'm just thinking we're like on the Yanni side of music, maybe. But
there's some really good, if you just do dog music or cat music, there's some great playlists.
It's fun. Nancy's so sweet. She's like, we love you and all you do for the fur babies. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you, Nancy. Nancy's adorable. We're going to be neighbors. We do a Mayberry meetup every year with a bunch of YouTubers in Mount Airy, North Carolina in the fall, which is fun. So a lot of us will be getting together. Some of us will be getting together in Michigan. Some will be getting in Mount Airy. And then in January, a lot of us will be getting together in Arizona. So for all of us crazy nomads with pets, it's an interesting thing because we travel. That's one, we travel. And two, we talk about how do you travel safely and how do we do it with the least amount of anxiety, especially with older dogs, and how do we help along the way? And so that's really important that we help along the way. So here we go. It says, how do you keep from succumbing to compassion fatigue? Ooh, good question.
That's this question.
Love that.
Right.
Laura, I'm gonna let you jump on that one, Laura.
Okay. I mean, it obviously does get incredibly fatiguing, both physically and emotionally. For me, it's just it's more important to carry on. Like what happens if you don't? So it keeps me going to help them and give them a chance.
Yeah. I would say, honestly, I'm sure Laura does too. I have the best support squad. Like I said, I have a transport coordinator and she's literally why I'm able to keep going.
Right.
And she really listens when I'm like, okay, I need a week off or I need 2 weeks off. All the animals motivate me. So especially the ones that have been injured, the ones that have been scared, the ones that have had the worst past. And then I get the best picture from their now owner. And I'm like, that's why I do it. And those seem to come at the time that you need it the most.
Yeah.
So I think one is making sure that you're open about when you are getting to that burnout level and that you lean on your support squad. And the other is just to keep kind of that motivation from those amazing fur babies that we transport. And every time an adopter is like, you transported one of my babies, it's just the best feeling ever. So
it's a great feeling. And as an adopter, this is gonna be like the weird question of like, I wanted to be the detective. I wanted to know, where did my dog come from?
Yeah.
Who transported them? Who was involved in this whole saving of I want to thank you. I want to genuinely say thank you for doing all that you worked. And we found out that there were 4 kids. Actually, it was a lady on Facebook, really short story. Lady on Facebook found these dogs somewhere and she tracked them to this abandoned house. She put a thing on Facebook saying, I need help, because she called the local animal control and they had no room. And someone picked it up on Facebook. This is why that power of social media is a big deal right now. Picked it up on Facebook and said, we'll be out there to meet you. And she came out with her 4 kids. They crawled underneath this crawl space of a house to get these puppies out. They got the puppies out and then, worked with it from there. And then they went from one place, got moved to another place. And then one came my way and we backtracked where all of those other dogs went. It's a really great story. It's really cool. Really neat. And I just want to thank those kids because let's face it, I'm a mama too. I got a bunch of kids. And if I said, hey, I want you to go crawl underneath that house and be like, are you kidding? No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And Nancy's like, I love big mutts, and I cannot lie.
Agreed. Agreed.
True.
Well, this is cool. Well, we are at the time where I want you guys to hold tight for a second. I'm going to put a link out right now. And for those of you who like to come up and just say hi or like give us something really exciting or something that you're really grateful for this week, you're more than welcome to. We're going to keep our guests up for about 5 more minutes, and then we're going to start to go over to Thin Blue Lane. So let me grab the link. If you would like to come up, you are more than welcome to. I will only bring you up if you were in the back, if you were in the basement and you move. I also need to know who you are. So if you come up and there's just a blank picture, sorry, Charlie, not coming up. But if I know who you are, come on over. So there's the link. And I know Brandon's been dying to come up. Brandon's so excited. So hold on, ladies. Here's Brandon. Brandon!
Don't mind my head. I got the fan on.
He's got the fan on. So Brandon is our friend in UK. He's got his Be For Our Best Friend shirt on. Look at, styling.
Nice.
He's styling. Brandon's awesome. So Brandon's got a dog named Wilson.
Oh, me too.
Yep.
And Wilson's got a nice little Instagram. So Brandon, what's been exciting
YouTube
about your
as
week?
well. My week's been going well. The temperature over in the UK is pretty warm. Every minute I'm feeling like, I go outside. It's too warm. Go back in and out every minute with Wilson. Every minute as well, he keeps on napping on his cooling mat as well.
Cooling mats are great. That's a really good thing. Yeah, especially in the hot weather. I highly recommend those.
And for anyone watching, if you click the blue join button and if you come a VIP,
you get a cool box with stuff. It's true.
I definitely need a sticker. So we have. I make all stickers magnets.
Oh, yes. Speaking of that. Hold on.
We're big on stickers over here. We love to send stickers out. It's a lot of fun.
Obviously,
we have lots
of
Oh yeah.
Is the message always personal or is it just
you
the same for everyone?
Well, it's up to you. It's your message. It's whatever you want to say. I wrote him a nice little card.
Get?
I love it. Oh.
Said, so glad we could finally get you your possum swag because we had to get across the pond. It was a big deal for myself and my pup, Rosie Bell. Said, thanks for being an awesome friend.
Yeah. Handwritten notes are just.
Well, Laura, we're in the South. No offense. It comes with the territory.
That's right. Oh, that's so cute.
And Wilson's got a new bandana. Yep. So we put his
kind
picture
of works for both of us.
Or a mask. It could go either way. You could rob a bank, maybe, or go to the grocery store during COVID. One of the two.
That's your purpose.
Well, speaking of that, they have recently announced in the news that we don't have to wear masks in the shops.
Oh, big news, big change. Like that. Well, as long as everybody's safe, that's all that matters. That really is all that counts. So,
can I show everything that's in the box?
Sure, go ahead, share away. Let's have some fun. Oh yes, he got a really cool mobile pet bowl.
We use those for camping all the time.
Love them.
And also,
you got the new sticker with my crazy hair. Sorry, guys, I need to redo that. Very cool. It's fun.
My first ever profile picture was me in the woods. My hair was like this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You had a moment.
Was that
it's
that?
True, Brandon. It's crazy.
It was ridiculous.
You had a moment. I love this. Fire tenders. Hey, fire tenders. Good to see you. Evening. Hope you're having a great night. And Nancy's like, I kissed a mutt and I liked it.
Always.
This is fun. Well, Brandon, hey, dude, I appreciate your coming up. This is really cool. And I want people to go check out Brandon. Brandon has some new things coming up, which I'm real proud of. He, of course, has a Facebook page, but he has a Facebook group
recently
now.
Joined, put together a Facebook page for me.
Yes, cool. It looks really cool. So we're going to go check out Brandon's stuff. And Brandon, if you want to put a comment with that on, I'll make sure that we put the link somewhere. That'd be really cool. We'll get you going on that one. But I'm going to put you down the basement because I want to thank the ladies for coming up. Okay. So can you hold on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Laura, Rachel, you guys have been awesome, and you have just answered all the questions that we've had all these questions about transport. And I'm like, we just need 2 experts on the panel. That's all.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it.
This is what it's all about, is just giving really good information, letting people know some options, finding out how people can help you, because people do want to help. They really do. And when they know where to go, it makes a huge difference. And, not everyone can start a 501c3. Rachel, that's a big undertaking. I'm telling you.
It is.
And it's really nice now that you guys Laura, you know someone up north, and Rachel, you know someone down south. We've made a little rescue connection. The rescue connection. I like that. But anyways, we want to thank everybody for being on. If you guys can hold on backstage, just don't take off. Let me put you backstage for 2 seconds. Oh my gosh, I'm big. There we go. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. We appreciate it very much. So it really is a joy for us to do this every Thursday night. And we just appreciate everybody coming, commenting, being a member of our channel. If you have not subscribed and liked, we really would appreciate if you would subscribe and like it. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the bell when we're notified. We do a Monday night travel chick chat every 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. And we always put out a new video every single week. And it's really a lot of fun. And if you like comedy and quirky stuff, you found the channel for you, with a little spice of dog and travel. Lots of fun. So everybody have a great week. And we will hopefully see you guys later. And let's go over to Thin Blue Lane. We're going to do a raid for Thin Blue Lane. They're coming up in a few minutes. So everybody go grab your drinks, take a little break, and we'll see you in a few. Make sure you say Forever Best Friend raid when we go over there. Bye, everybody.